But here's the thing though. I'm a professional actor, right? I can say this. Over the past 20 years, because that's over 20 years ago I started my career in Hollywood. Basically, since I'm a paid actor, for the past 20 plus years, I made Hollywood's top 10 list of lowest paid actors of all times. I say, you know what? At least I made a list. I'm up to $88.26. The car's at, $100. The car beat me. And here's another thing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you now. With that Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, I started actually hating on the car. So back then, like my grandma last night, she passed away, rest in peace. Like my grandma, rest in peace in heaven. So sometimes I would just go outside, right? I just go outside and just look at the car. I'd just be sitting up in the yard. I'm just like, that car made more than me. So I just start snapping. I go kick the back of the car. I kick the bumper. But you're a great girl! Boom! Just get... Welcome back to another episode of LB Tales from the Hood, and you should already know by now, I'm your host LB, bringing you another episode in the story of my life, real life experiences, just giving you, my perception and, what I've learned from things. So today's episode is called Don't Hate, Congratulate. Now, this episode centers around about 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, I started getting into acting. Now, the question would be, what would make me want to get into acting? Okay, glad you asked. Well, nobody really asked. I just came up with that. But, no, what made me want to get into acting is this. I figured, hey, most of my life I was acting a fool anyway for free, and I ain't getting paid for it, so I might as well act a fool on camera and get paid for it, right? Well, not really act a fool, because I back then I was going to Queensborough Community College, took a couple of acting classes, went to a couple of independent, acting classes outside of the school. They, taught me like the Stanislavski method and all this type of stuff. So, I guess I was traditionally trained. I mean, I probably was training for, I don't know. I did it for a semester or two, maybe did like another 3 to 6 months outside of the school. But anyway, getting into acting, right? Now, here's the experience with that. First off, here in New York, let me tell you. People like, if you want to make it big acting, you're either going to be in New York or LA. Like the main two hubs here in the United States you want to get into acting. Okay. So, being a beginner, not knowing what I'm doing, I started looking like through, like back then we had like yellow pages and, we didn't, we had the internet, but, I don't think I was looking at the internet. I think I looked at the yellow pages, whatever. But the point is, I found a place in Manhattan. And the place in Manhattan supposedly was for actors. They representation, help get you jobs and all that. So little did I know at the time that a lot of these places are trying to cater to a certain type of people. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I found it in the yellow pages. I think I might have found it in the back of the magazine. But where I found it is not important. The point is, there are a lot of scams. Because a lot of people getting into the business, they have no idea what they're doing. They have no clue. They're lost. So, you're like, let me try to get representation. At least that's the thought that was going in my head. So I go to the city. Go to this acting place. So they're telling me, all right, yeah, you got the look, you got all this, there's a lot of parts. They was like, first we're going to start you out. We're going to give you a couple small jobs. It was like, even if you go for extras get bumped up all the time. So this is a game they selling me, right? So then they're telling me first what you need is some professional headshots. So they tell me that and they're like, here. I'm like, so I need to go get headshots. They're like, no, we got a guy for you. We got a guy. We're going to send you there. They're like, don't worry. We got you. We got you. Check this out. This that New York hustle. We got you. They ain't say that exactly like that. It was all in suits trying to be professional. It was in some suite up in the city and whatever. They had rented some little bootleg place. I mean, they try to dress it up, put a couple pictures on the wall, put a couple of posters of movies. So, we in there, me and everybody else is up in there calling and getting an appointment to come in there, which you probably just could have walked through the door anyway. But, we in there like, yeah, this is real. Beginning to acting. About to be a big movie star. Be next to Denzel Washington, Robert De Niro. I'm feeling good. So anyway, they send me to their guy for headshots. First off, they're telling me the headshot's going to cost $250. So I'm like, $250? So at the time, I was down bad, man. Pockets hurting a little bit. So what I do, I shoot home. Go there. So I'm looking for anything. I'm like, yo, I got to get to the pawn shop. I got to get my bread up real quick. Get this $250. Go get my headshots. It's all gravy. Man, I was grabbing everything, man. I had an ironing board that I pretty much was still in the plastic, never opened. I said, I'm going to pawn this. I got the iron. See, the iron was old. It was a dirty iron. I went, got some I think I got some, I don't know, some Dawn soap or something, threw it on a rag, rubbing the iron up. I said, look, I'm gonna make it look as clean as possible. Literally, I got everything in the kitchen sink. I said, I'm gonna get this bread up, get this acting thing going. Hell, I think at the end of the day, I couldn't move the iron, so my mom was trying to support me. I mean, I love my mom, bless her heart. She's the best that ever happened to me, So, she's like, look, she was like, I'll buy the iron back from you. She just gave me a couple bucks. She was like, here's $20 or whatever. She was like, get you on your way. So anyway, finally I get the money up, right? So I go to this guy that they sent me to get the headshots. First off, I go in the studio. I'm like, hold up, man. He got the little setup. He got some light that looked like the light. I can't show you now because I have to turn the camera around. I feel like readjusting it. It like the bootleg light I use to record my videos. And then on top of that, the backdrop, the screen, looked like some poster board, white poster board. He done messed around and got from the Dollar Tree. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. I'm still excited. My head's gassed. I'm like, yeah, about to get into this acting thing. Ready to do this. Get my act on. All right, whatever. Take the picture. And I'm like, hold up. When he's taking the picture, I'm like, what kind of, I said, that's a professional camera? Dude got like I don't know if y'all remember, like, I don't pretend to know the age of everybody who watched my videos, but back in the days they had the Polaroid cameras. We hit the button, boom, picture come right out. It develops after a few minutes or whatever. Dude taking my picture or something like that, like, I'm like, hold up, he's like, nah, taking a picture, waving, like, gonna be about another 5 minutes, I got you. I'm like, hold up, I'm like, I don't think this is a professional headshot. He like, nah, he's like, a lot of times people get the big headshots, like the 8x10, whatever the size is. He's like, this here is the mini shots. He said, look, those big headshots, when you get your acting resume, you gotta staple it to the back and all that, attach it, put it in a big manila envelope. This here saves you money. All you gotta do is get the regular size envelope, throw the picture in, boom, there you go. Good money. I was like, okay. So anyway, he gives me, he takes out something or whatever and gives me a roll, say, you want to make some more copies? Boom, whatever. I get that, I'm like, all right, get my act on, doing my thing. And the funny thing is, like I said, at the time, I didn't know that these bootleg, places that's supposed to represent actors, they send you to photographers, they got on, I don't know if they got on payroll, they're getting kickbacks from them. All I know is the whole thing is a scam. After I found out that my headshot was really no good, because somebody else told me the truth. One time I went to some audition. It was like, they was like, this is crap. They was like, you need a better headshot than this. And it was like, look, they was like, all right, they had me read on camera. Actually, I read for Pootie Tang too, or whatever. That was crazy. The lady had to pat my head. It's okay, little thing. I think I was supposed to be one of the thugs that got bust upside the head or something. Like, yo, Pootie Tang black my eye up. It was crazy. But anyway, they told me I needed new headshots. I went to Green Acres Mall back then. They had this place called, I think, the Picture People. Why they took a better headshot than I got from the people that the professional place sent me to, or the so-called professional, which they not. So I was like, all right. So, that's one of the times, I got scammed getting into the whole acting thing. And then, here's another thing. They sent me to a few jobs, right? They sent me to audition. So I went, and it was actually for extra roles. So what the situation was, whenever they get you a job, or supposedly get you a job, you got to send them back 10%. So they got me a job. I think the job paid like $30 or something like that. I got to send them back $3. Now come to find out, they was getting the work that they were sending these actors to out of the back of Backpage magazine. Backpage. When I found it, I was like, I could have found this myself. I'm like, I got to send these dudes 10%. Here's another thing. I said, okay. I went out for management. I said, maybe if I get a good manager, they're going to hook me up and get this. So I was at one meeting with a manager, and the crazy thing is, I'm sitting there and I look back. You know who's there? Old girl that played in Bronx Tale. I think her name is Tara Hicks. If I'm getting her name wrong, I'm sorry, but Tara Hicks. I said, if she's here and she was in a Bronx Tale, I'm like, I don't stand a chance. But I was like, okay, maybe she want to further her career, whatever. I don't know the whole Hollywood scene. It is what it is. All right. Remember, I went to another manager. This manager was talking about, all right, I go in there and I'm like feeling good about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna manager. This dude gonna talk about, he looking at me like, yeah, he was like, what's your age? He's like, you look young. He was like, he said, trust me, there's gonna be a lot of parts for you in Hollywood. I'm gonna work closely with you. Yeah. And I started thinking to myself, like, what is he talking about work closely? I was like, I don't know if he talking about some funny money, but I'm like, dude, I don't get down like that. that ain't, I said, hey, that ain't me. I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm like, I ain't Terry Crews. Ain't nobody gonna grab my joint to me. Gotcha. And I'm gonna talk about, baby, you know, he touched me in my no-no spot. I said, hell no. I was like, I ain't going for all that. I'm like, look, I'm a little different than that, man. I'm like, yo, anybody go that way, I have nothing against nobody's lifestyle. It's just that that's not me. And I'm not letting nobody violate me. I'm like, had that been me, I was like, it went down a little different than that. I'm like, you were here, oh Lord, help me. I was like, I'd have been doing the heel to toe, the Macarena on somebody's forehead, like, you wanna touch me? I've been dancing with it. And check this out. Back then, I had no rhythm. I was told I was looked like I was born with 2 left feet. I only got rhythm maybe about like another 3-4 years ago. You know, I love to dance, good exercise. I play around, but you know, I can never dance worth nothing, man. I was like, I ain't trying to be Chris Brown anyway, trying to dance around. But yo, you know how I knew I couldn't dance too? Back in the days, I was at the club and I was dancing with this female. So she kept laughing. She was like, you silly, you silly. She's like, come on, dance for real. And I'm like, dance for real? I am dancing for real. I'm like, she was like, you dancing all off beat, you playing around, you play. I said, look here, man. I was like, I know, I said, I'm trying to do a simple 2-step. See, me, I turned a 2-step into a 3.5 step. So I said, look, baby, I said, the song just started. It's a 4-minute song. I said, I might not be on beat right now. I said, you about 3.5 minutes into this song, I said, I catch the beat. I said, trust me, I'm trying to catch them. Tap, 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 tap. I said, trust me, I tap enough. By the time, before the song's over, I'm going to catch that beat. We're going to get a cool 30 seconds. So until then, just chill out. Needless to say, they ain't going nowhere in the club. She was like, this dude is crazy. But anyway, getting back on point to the acting thing, man. Oh, by the way, when I was at that manager, what else got me is later on, they want to slide a contract to my, all right, you put down $1,995 and they get 20% or whatever you make. I said, hold up. So I was out there, so I was speaking to another gentleman. He was like, yo, he was like, I'm here to support my wife. He was like, she wants to get into this whole acting, modeling thing. He was like, to be honest with you, he was like, I think it's crazy, but he said, I'm here to support my wife. And what's crazy is he said, no, he said, so I got to talking. I was like, well, I'm getting into the acting thing, blah, blah, blah. I took some courses. He said, yo, he said, you know, to be honest with you, he said, this is New York. He said, in New York, you go over and kick over any garbage can. He said, 10 actors going to roll out like, oh, with headshots in their hand. You know, we'll work for food. Like, I was like, I know it's crazy, but I said, you know, I'm going to try my thing with it. Whatever. So, here's the acting jobs I got, right? All right. I remember I went to one place, and it was for this movie called, I think it was, I can't remember, but they said they a lot of times say it's a working title, but I think it ended up being Midnight Manhattan or something like Manhattan Midnight, and it was with Richard Grieco. So I remember, I think it was shooting, it was in a parking garage. It was somewhere in maybe Brooklyn or Manhattan, I don't remember, but we had to meet in the parking garage. So I'm on set with a bunch of other extras. So a bunch of the people they're talking, I'm just sitting there just, you know, feeling the vibe or whatever. And here's the thing too, they said bring a car. So we thinking it's a job where we're going to be acting in it. So back then, I had to borrow my grandmother's car. She had an 86 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. So we drove the car, I had to bring it in there, bring it in the parking garage. So we sitting there waiting. So a bunch of us are, well, a bunch of them are talking. I'm just standing around. So next thing you know, this old, looking like a 1991 limousine pull up. So the next thing you know, I guess one of the people, I don't know if they was assistant director or whoever, they was like, everybody shut up. They was like, Richard Grieco is on set. Shut your mouth. And I'm standing there like, okay. I was like, you know how I do. I'm like, I was like, I wasn't talking anyway, but he ain't talking to me. But I'm like, yo, I said, Richard Grieco? Richard Grieco? I said, now look, man. I was like, I remember Richard Grieco for such things as like 21 Jump Street. And then I think back in like the early 90s, 90 something like that, he did this movie called Looks Could Kill. Hey, I like the movie. It's probably a cult classic. I don't think it did big numbers, but, you know, it's cool. But just the fact, it was like, Richard Grieco. I said, Richard Grieco ain't been hot since the 90s. At that point in time, I think it was like 2001, 2002 I was there. I said, dude looked like he pulled up in a limousine back when his career was hot. It's a 91 limo. Richard Grieco. I was like, whatever, man. So, all right. Here's the thing. Here's a funny thing, too. At the end of the day, they had us leave, too. They was like, all right. They said, you people could leave your car here, come back like in another 10 hours, something like that. So I said, leave the car. I'm like, it's like, don't worry, it's gonna be safe. I'm like, it better. I was like, yo, if they tear this car up or something like that, mess around, Richard Grieco slam somebody in the hood, like, bam, or they do one of them Hollywood stunts. I was like, yo, I hope they gonna replace it. I'm like, they are gonna replace it. I'm like, shoot, they need to upgrade it. Give us is it 86 Cutlass Supreme? Upgrade this is something closer to the year. But anyway, so we leave, right? Come back. They paid us out in cash, gave us like $100. So basically, you might as well say the car made $100. But whatever, they gave me the $100. And here's another thing I learned about the Hollywood talk. The casting director was talking to me and another lady that was there. So she was like, you guys seemed like you was cool. You didn't complain about nothing. You know, I seen y'all wasn't talking, whatever. She's like, I want to work with y'all. So she took our information down. So she said she was going to Hong Kong, I think, to shoot something. She gonna call me when she get back. Or call us. Okay, it's over 20 years ago. I still ain't get a call. But I realized that's the Hollywood talk. Don't call us. We'll call you. That's like that, let's do lunch. Yeah, let's do lunch, all right. You waiting on Hollywood to do lunch? Man, you be starving like Marvin talking about, they ain't called yet. I'm waiting for my lunch. Nah, that's that Hollywood game or whatever. Okay, so here's another job I had to do. Another audition. Man, here's the thing. This was like the last straw. I got tired of it. So I think I made like $30 and the car made $100. So it was for, I had to audition for changing lane. And here's the thing too, when they tell you to audition, they tell you to show up 8 in the morning. You really better get there like probably 3, 4 in the morning. Because by the time you get there at 7 a.m., the line is going around the block, down the corner. And I remember I was standing on one of those lines out there in the butt booty cold freezing. And I'm like, all of us out there, brick as a champ. You hear people talking like, yo, it's okay because this is for an extra role, but extras get bumped up all the time. And I got a role like, you know, about 15 years ago, I had an extra part, and I got to speak. And when I got to speak, instead of extra pay, I got like $250. And they said, I got a waiver. And it was like, whew, they was like, I think you get like 2, 3 waivers, something like that. You got to join the union. They was like, but next time I'm ready. Got my paper up. They was like, I'm getting a union. Next time I get bumped up. I'm like, 10, 15 years ago. Now look, I'm no stranger to hard work. I'm willing to put that work in. But I said, man, I was like, that Hollywood, you know, man, I can't really get with. But yo, so all right, changing lanes, right? Here's the thing too. All right, finally, when I make it to the place where I got to sign up and everything, they're telling me this is what it is. You're gonna be an extra, and you're playing basically a businessman in a suit. So I'm still fairly new to it, like I've been telling you guys. So I'm like, all right, I'm playing a businessman in the suit. Cool. I'm like, all right. So they give me the time and date to show up. I'm like, so do I got to show up a little early on that date so I can get ready for wardrobe or whatever, so they can, you know, fit me for the suit, for the businessman in the suit? And they looking at me like, they was like, did this guy really not? Where he think he at? They said, wardrobe. So they said, what you think you have your trailer too? We gotta have your trailer, yeah. So we got about, you know, 500 extras in the movie. We gotta pull a trailer up for you. I'm like, so what am I supposed to do? I'm like, at the time, you know, I really didn't have a suit like that, or probably had some little, you know, little dress pants or something to try to dress up on an interview whenever I did it. But you know, I really ain't on nothing. And anyway, you know, I'm one of them brothers that, like, you know, you tell me to dress up, I'm throwing on some black dickies. I say, hey, they look like slacks. That's my suit anyway. So they're like, no, they was like, you got to get you a suit and show up on this time and date. So I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, I don't have a suit. So I said, boom, take the information down. So I go home, and my grandfather, you know, he had a couple of old suits. So I gotta borrow one from him. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, damn, my grandfather, you know, love my grandfather, definitely, he rest in peace. But, you know, he got the older suit, and he got the joint. He's a little bit bigger than me, a little taller. So, you know, the seat, when I put it on, the suit's a little baggy on me. And he got like the old school suit. No disrespect, but, you know, he got the old school looking, you know, Steve Harvey joint, looking like the Sid Sucker suit. So I said, whatever, man. I said, this is my only option. I said, whatever. And plus, they told me the movie was paying like $75. I'm just the extra. I'm not in the union. So when you're not in the union, you get non-union pay. So I was getting $75. If I was in the union, I think the pay back then might have been, I don't know, $2 something. I don't know. Maybe $250, something like that. $300, I don't know. So anyway, I'm putting on the suit, looking a little extra baggy, looking like I'm trying to go out, like, I don't know, looking like rappers when they throw on suits and go to award shows. So I'm like, whatever, man. I'm in a throwback Steve Harvey Sid Sucker suit. It's all good. So the day that we got to shoot, we're shooting in some They're shooting a movie in some museum, I think, Museum of Modern Art, something like that, down in the city. So I'm going there, and basically I think the whole day, the scene that I was in, it was like a memorial service for somebody who had died. So I think the whole thing, I think I was there like 10 hours. So we on set, and you know, the scene was actually, Ben Affleck was actually there. So he was doing a memorial service, and he was asking people in the audience, like, you know, did they know the person who died? And I remember sitting there, so he's doing the same take over and over again. It's like 10 hours, he was doing the same take over and over. Now I know this is Hollywood, you know, like I said, it's different than like a soap opera where they're shooting live and they gotta memorize their lines. So they still gotta memorize their lines for the day, but after a while, he's saying the same line. I'm like, I got tired of hearing it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Ben Affleck's up here doing the same line over and over again. This dude for the movie, I don't know how much he was getting paid, $10 million or whatever. Whatever he was getting, it was significantly more than what I'm getting. I'm like, I gotta sit here and hear this over and over again for $75. And being that it was a big production, they was gonna mail me a check and they was gonna take out tax. So at that point, I'm like, God knows how much I'm gonna get after tax. So he's saying the same thing. He's like, yeah, he was like, okay. He got the microphone. Yes, you know, the guy that died, whatever his name is, I forgot what it is. He was a good man. He's like, do you know him? And it's some kids. There's like, he got like, there's like some, I think some of the extras was like a basketball team that was in the memorial service. Some other people looked like they was dressed up in like Navy or military uniforms or something like that. I don't know. So he's talking, there's some kids in the front row who look like a band or something. He's like, did you know him? Did you know him? Did you know him? Then they're like, cut! Okay, redo the scenes. They got the lighting people. Ben Affleck standing there waiting a minute. Then they're doing the same thing again. Okay, he was a great man, kids. Did you know him? Did you know him? Did you know him? So I'm sitting there like 2-3 hours, like, after, you know, I think I took the suit jacket I had was kind of big. I took that off. I think I had a short sleeve little shirt or whatever. I'm just sitting there like, every time they go and say action, you know, I got to get ready before that, you know. Like, all right, you sit up straight. I'm the businessman in the suit. He's like, did you know? After a while, I got disgusted. I said, man, I gotta hear this dude repeat the same damn line over and over again. I said, man, I started to snap after. I said, I'll go up there and snatch the microphone and say, look, man, look, kid, the guy done died. Did you know him? You know him? That's it. We did it. Scene cut. Let's go. I was like, nah, if I would have did that, as soon as I would have got there, I would have threw my black behind up out of there. But I was like, I gotta hear him over and over. And like I said, it's no disrespect to Ben Affleck. You know, he's a good actor and everything. I was getting aggy. I knew I wasn't really getting paid that much money. I was like, man, I seriously was reconsidering my whole career in Hollywood and everything. I said, damn, at least it'd been more interesting if I could have had a scene with Samuel Jackson, because he was in the movie too. Because, you know, Sam Jack, I'm like, look, I think I could have watch Samuel Jackson over and over again for 10 hours to the memorial service, because you know how he is. You know, Samuel Jackson, he gonna start getting loud and screaming just for no reason, screaming and cussing, just for no. He personifies the angry black man. You know, if it was him, he would have been like, now he dead. Did you know the mother? And that'd have been, the thing is, I probably got kicked up out of there, because I probably been like, I'd have been like, yo, that's why you tell him, Sam. Man, get him, Sam. That's my boy right there. Act like I know him. I don't know that man from home. I'll never see him till that. That's Sam right there. You get him, Sam. They would have been like, They'd been, go ahead, security, Tookie, Snucky, get him out of here. They would have got me up out of there, but, man, it was crazy. So, like I said, you know, it was $75 before tax. When they mailed the check to me in the mail, I think after they took out tax, I got something like $58.26. I said, ain't this one, man? I said, $58.26, and I was there for 10 hours having to hear that same line over and over again. And here's another way you get played as an extra. All right, one thing on Hollywood sets and stuff, they feed you well. You know, they feed you really well. So they have the catering service bring the stuff in. So when it was time to eat for lunch, they was like, all right, we're going to cut for lunch. So I'm like, cool. All of us are like, yeah. We got lunch. People like, I wonder what we're going to have. Are they going to have something real nice or whatever? Blah, blah. So, you know, I was new to it. I said, cool. I said, well, see if they have. I'm hungry. And at that time, I think I was still eating meat. I wasn't eating pork. I stopped eating like pork and beef back in the year 2000. I was eating like chicken. So I said, hopefully they got a nice chicken dish or something. I said, go tear me some chicken up. You know, I'm stereotypical black man. Love me some chicken. Now I'm just playing. But you know the stereotypes. But I love me some chicken. Man, I would have chased a chicken down with a fork. Fried chicken, honey chicken, I ain't care. Chicken, chicken, chicken. Just give me some chicken. Whatever. So, when it's lunchtime, you know, of course, like Ben Affleck, he's not eating with everybody else, so he got his own trailer. You don't expect that. He's a star of the movie. He's one of the stars. All right, so they have union actors eating first. They're like union actors, so we all was sitting there like, people like, see, that's why they bumping each other. That's why I'm gonna join the union. It was like, yeah. It was like, got my waiver. It was like, but then next time, join the union. I'm getting the union. I'm eating with them. So like union. So like, all right. So we eat next. We non-union. Next thing you know, they like, you know, the set maintenance. They eating too. Everybody else eating. I'm like, what? No. I'm like, what? I'm like, everybody else eating before us. I'm like, what's gonna be left by the time we get there? So all right. Finally, they bring us in after we got to let everybody else eat. Non-union actors. So the non-union actors come in. I'm going around, they got these big pans and spreads, look like they're in the silver pans, like when you go to a cookout, got the little Bunsen burners under it. So I'm looking, I'm like, there's not much left for us. I said, ain't this for, I said, we get the leftovers. So I'm looking or whatever, so I'm grabbing me a couple rolls or something, throw some salad on there. By the time I get there won't really no chicken left. They got chicken crumbs left, so I'm just throwing on a plate. I'm like, whatever, man. I said, there's a little skin. I said, I don't really eat the skin, but I'll flake the crust off the skin and eat that. I said, I could throw that on a biscuit or something. So I'm sitting there eating it, and I got the roll, so I'm basically just going like this. I take the roll, I'm like, just wet the roll a little bit or whatever, dip the roll in the chicken crumbs rolling around. I'm like, so I'm like, man, I said, that tastes like that had been some really good chicken if I would have got a whole piece. I was like, what kind of chicken is that? I said, man, I said, the Colonel ain't got nothing on this. I said, what kind of herbs and spices? I said, I wish I could talk to whoever catered this or whatever, what they use. And I was like, this would have been some good chicken had I actually got a piece. I said, man, this Hollywood stuff just ain't for me, man. I was like, this crazy. Like I said, Changing Lanes got like $58.26. I did another movie or some small part, got like $30 or whatever. So me myself, I'm up to like $88 and what is it? $88.26. The car at that point, you know, made $100. So I'm like, whatever, man. So let me see another Hollywood experience. Okay, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to go by memory now, whatever. So. Yeah, so like I said, I got played for the the whole Changing Lanes thing or whatever. So, here's another thing. Here's the reason for the title of this video, Don't Hate, Congratulate. I remember I was hearing about this kid named Rob Brown. So there's a movie, Find the Forester, that came out. And Rob Brown, he's on the radio, he was talking about it. And I'm trying to think, when they was doing the casting call for it, even though I was in the acting, I had missed the casting call. Well, of course, I think back then I was, you know, relying on these old bootleg actor people or whatever representationists tell me about something. Sometimes, you know, when I found they was looking at Backpage Outlook, but Rob Brown, he got this part in the movie Find the Forester. So I remember he was telling a story on the radio, talking about, yeah, he was like, he had to pay a cell phone bill. He was in high school at the time. So he said that he answered the casting call. He didn't think he'd get it. He said, hey, he figured if he get a little small part or something, he might get a little $200, $300, whatever, and he could pay his bill. He said, little did he know when he went and read for the role, he was going to get the main role. And I was like, so I'm not gonna lie, I started hating a little bit because he was a high school kid. Me, I always looked way younger than what I was. So I was like, I could have played that role. And then when the movie came out, I saw the movie, and I was like, I'm looking at the role they had Rob Brown playing. I was like, that could have been me. That could have been. I said, I could have did that. I said, I got more than a cell phone bill. I said, Daddy need a new pair of shoes. I was like, I got crazy bills. And I'm like, he did it for a cell phone bill. But I'm not gonna lie, that kid Rob Brown, he killed the part. He was perfect for it. I remember an interview with Sean Connery. Sean Connery said that when Rob Brown was actually reading for it, you know, he seemed like he was a seasoned actor. He did a great job. He did a bang-up job. And this is when I realized, don't hate, congratulate. Because I said, you know what? It wasn't meant for me to be. The universe ain't mean for me to have this role. If they did, I would have had it. So I was like, instead of hating, I was like, shout out to Rob Brown. He did an excellent, excellent job in the movie. So I was like, it wasn't meant for me to be. I was like, he was perfect for the role. But at that time, I was having my struggles with going through it, a struggling actor. And, you know, once you get paid, though, when you're an actor, you're considered a professional actor. So I'm like, technically, I am a professional actor, but, you know, just ain't paid that much. But, you know, I'm a professional actor or whatever. So, like I said, I made $88.26. The car made $100, but here's the thing, though. I'm a professional actor, right? I can say this. over the past 20 years, because that's over 20 years ago I started my career in Hollywood, basically, since I'm a paid actor, for the past 20 plus years, I made Hollywood's top 10 list of lowest paid actors of all times. I said, you know what? At least I made a list. I'm up to $88.26. The car's at, $100. The car beat me. And here's another thing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you now. With that Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, I started actually hating on the car. So back then, like my grandma, last night, she passed away, rest in peace. Like my grandma, rest in peace in heaven. So sometimes I would just go outside, right? I just go outside and just look at the car. I'd be sitting up in the yard. I'm just like, that car made more than me. So I just start snapping. I go kick the back of the car. I kick the bumper. But you're great girl! Boom! Just getting pissed thinking about it. But you're great girl! I would just start kicking the back of the bumper or whatever. Sometimes the lady next door, she's sweet. She's an elderly lady. She be looking out the window or whatever. I'll be like, oh, my bad. I'm like, I'm sorry. I apologize. Did I disturb you? I'm like, I didn't mean to wake you up. I'm like, look, you understand. Times is hard on the boulevard. I'm going through something. She be looking out the window. She's like, I know, baby. It's okay. We all go through stuff at times. She's so sweet. We go through something. The neighbors sometimes, they be like, yo, what's up with that kid that live next door to you? I mean, is he kind of slow or something? He be out there kicking all types of bumpers, acting a fool. And, she's so sweet, Your elders, they don't want to talk about you. She's like, you know what? She was like, that baby's a good kid. She said, she said, we all know. She said, I know, he's born a bit touchy, but, we all go through things. He's a good guy. Times is hard for him. Bless his heart. And I'm like, shoot, that's why I go out there, every once in a while I snap, Richard, great girl! Trick the back of the car, and I see, I be like, sorry, how you doing? I didn't mean to disturb you, Miss Johnson. Got love. She's like, it's okay, baby. She understood what it was. And the funny thing is, my grandma, one time, she started looking, she would say, baby, she was like, it looked like the back of the bumper's denting in a little bit. And, she did. And I said, no, Grandma, it looked like it's denting in. I said, what? I was like, that, and that car was made, that's when they made cars out of real metal, not that cheap fiberglass, you pluck the car and the back of the car fold up crap that they make the newer cars out of. That car was like a piece of steel. So, I was kicking her if I have a small dent in it. She said, it looked like it's denting on the back of the, I said, Grandma, I'm looking at the car. I said, Grandma, you know what happened. I said, you told me that, sometimes your eyesight, you got to get a little better prescription. I said, that's probably you was backing up into the driveway and you backed a little into the house. You probably hit the bumper. She said, you sure about that? I said, Grandma, you remember, man. Yeah. And my grandma's so funny. I get away with it because, let me tell you, my grandmother, she was funny. You think I'm funny? If you do, you don't, whatever. But I get my sense of humor from my grandma. Because I remember my grandma one time, she had brought my mom's car. My mom had like a 99 Toyota Camry. So my grandmother went out one day and she came back all nervous with the side of the Camry side view mirror was hanging over to the side. It was hanging off. And she told me, I said, Grandma, what happened to the car? She said, I was going to the corner store to put my numbers in. And she said, next thing you know, I'm driving out here, bam! And she said, I was like, what was that? She said, the mirror started hanging down. She said, it was a sharpshooter. She said, a sharpshooter took out the side view mirror, bam! And I said, Grandma, a sniper shot the side view. She said it was a sharpshooter and took it out. And I said, well, what, Grandma, why would they be shooting at you? She said they took out the mirror first, and she said it was a warning shot to let me know next one gonna be on in your head. So she said, then, I hit the gas. She said, I ducked down, I'm driving like this, getting away from it. I said, really? There was a sniper. She said, first of all, I said a sharpshooter. I said, Grandma, sharpshooter. Sniper, it's all the same thing, Grandma. I said, okay, we'll go with the sharpshooter. A sharpshooter took out the side view mirror, and the next bullet was going to be in your head. She said, I was driving like this. And she said, you know how I know? She said, I seen a white van driving behind me, and the guy's out the window like this, pumping it. She said, that was the sharpshooter. He was like, yeah, the next one going to be in your head. Took out that mirror. I said, so it was a man in a white van, angry, driving behind you. She said, he followed me for a couple blocks. She said, I had to drive down like this. And she said, finally, she was like, I beat him. I burned another corner. And she said, I was out of there. I said, okay. So I looked at the car. I said, Grandma, the side view mirror is hanging off the side of the car. I said, there's white paint on the mirror. I said, could it stand the reason that when you was driving through one of the blocks, you got too close to the white van, you hit it, the guy sitting in it, bam, he hears the noise. You know, you hit his car. So he was coming to let you know he hit his car, man. She said, that's not what it was. She said it was a sharpshooter. He shot them. I said, Grandma, I said, I'm looking at the side view mirror. I said, I see damage. I see dents. I said, I see white paint. I don't see a bullet hole, Grandma. I said, where's the bullet? I said, the bullet, it hit the side view mirror. It knocked it down. It bounced off or something. And miraculously didn't leave any type of bullet hole or nothing. The shell's not in there. She said, it's a sharp. She said, stop trying to question. She said, that's your problem. You need to go to church more, baby. She said, don't question me. Don't question me. She said, it's a sharpshooter. I know what I said. I said, Grandma, I said, when the last time you been to eye doctor, Grandma? I said, go back. I said, they need to update your prescription. You know, no disrespect, love my guy. I said, but I said, Grandma, that's crazy. There was no shit. She said, don't you? I said, okay. I said, you're right. I'm getting smart. I said, whoa, Grandma, you're right. I said, okay. I said, it was a sharpshooter. She said, it was a sharpshooter. I was like, okay. That's why I was like, I can get away with telling her, you know, the bumper, you back into the back of the house. I'm sorry, you know, I tried to, like, you know, Grandma, may you forgive me. But she looking down at me like, I knew I wasn't back into that house. I knew that baby was lying to me. But, anyway, getting back on topic. So, yeah, I would get upset. I was hating on the car. That's another thing. I hated on Rob Brown. I hated in the car. Every time I seen it, it reminded me of Richard Rico. And reminded me of the fact that I made 8826. Like I said, I made Hollywood's top 10 list of lowest paid actors of all time. At least I made some lists. Whatever. So, alright. And here's another time. Whoa, I think this might have been, was this the one? Well, I can't remember. This is a story when I did this TV show For Justice. Well, they was doing a pilot show. It was called For Justice. It was starring like Mario Van Peebles and, you know, somebody else. And the director was Ava DuVernay. Now, at the time, I didn't know who she was. You know, like I said, new to the whole thing. I hadn't heard about her body works. Later on when I heard about her, I said, this was that sister. She's going on to do a lot of great things. Much respect and love to her. I mean, look, I got to tip my hat to her because, first of all, we all know Hollywood is chauvinist. It's hard enough for a woman making it in there. And it's hard enough. And then on top of that, she's a black woman. Much respect, much love. You know, I see any type of woman making it. I'm saluting them, you know. It's hard enough in this crazy man's world with all type of discrimination. And, you know, she's a sister. Shout out to her. So, you know, I was on set. And basically they said I was an extra in this too. But it's like I was like I don't know. It was almost like they said it was almost like a main extra. It was me and like two other guys. So I had this scene where it was something like we had to meet up around this subway station. And when we're coming out, you got a whole bunch of extra. You got a bunch of people walking towards us. And we got to walk a certain type of way. So her assistant director, it's a brother. It's a black man. She had like a lot of, you know, people she hired that looked like her around the set. I was like, cool. I was like the assistant director. You know, I said, a brother, all right. But it's crazy. I know the brother had a hard time with me because, like I said, I'm still new to Hollywood. Some of the people are walking towards me. They're like, okay, when you walk out, you're going to do this. And they talking something like stage left. You're going here. So I'm trying to catch it. So I'm walking in and they're looking at me. And it's like, that way. I'm like, I'm going that way. So I'm cutting and the people are coming towards me. And they're looking like, no, get it together, move up. But I'm like, I'm trying to figure out. I'm walking. I'm basically going like this. And they're like, cut. But they were so nice. The brother ain't screaming. He was like, all right. He's like, we're going to start the scene again. You're going to walk this way and cut this way. And I said, but the people are coming at me so fast. They walking like true New Yorkers. I said, I'm used to walking New York when I'm not doing a movie. I could make it through the crowd. But I'm like, they're like, look, go that way. I'm like, I'm trying to go. So once again, we doing it over and over again. I'm like, there's still a lot I got to learn. But here's the thing. All right, they said cut. They said taking a break. So we taking a break, right? All right. This guy come up to me, and this guy, one of the other extras on set with me, he looked like a hood dude or whatever. So whatever, he come up to me, he's like, "Hey man," he was like, "You seen Crafty?" So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I switch automatically off the jump. I switch into survival mode, survival instinct. So my survival instinct say, I seen Crafty. So I'm thinking it's one of them. Old school. You know, moves, one of them juke moves, like, you know, back in the days, and, you know, Brooklyn cats, like I said, Brooklyn's known for taking it, like, Brooklyn dudes, they'll run up to you with that old school game, like, you know, see some sneakers they want on somebody, they'll be like, yo, they was like, yo, I like them kicks right there, yo, what size are they? And, you know, people don't know any better, guy walking around, oh, what size are they? I mean, you ask me about my shoes, they're size 10, and they'll be like, nah, my size, bow, punch you dead in your eye or whatever and take your shoes off your feet. So I'm thinking he trying to pull one of them old school jet moves or something. I said, this dude trying. So I'm thinking that I said, he coming at me. I said, on the set? You talking about crafty. So I'm thinking it's like some game he trying to run on me. So I'm like, I said, now, in my head, I'm like, should I wait for the dude to try to steal on me? And also, should I just go ahead and take off on him real quick and be like, I said, yo, I said, this is self-defense right now. I'm in fear of my life. Little did I know he was talking about craft services. So I'm glad I thought before I reacted. He said, because it's the way he came up. He said, he came up and was like, hey, yo, bro, man. He's like, you seen Crafty? I didn't know it was craft services. I'm glad I didn't react because afterwards or whatever, when I realized he asked somebody else and I heard him say craft services and then they pointed him or whatever and I said, oh shoot. And then on top of that, I went there, the craft services, they had like the little cart and all type of pastries and that. I said, oh shoot, went and got me something. I said, pretty good. But I said, I'm glad I didn't react, man. I said, I'm glad I didn't react crazy. I'm like, just picture that. I was like, you got the sister up here directing this show. I'm like, here I am, brother, up in here causing all this craziness on the set. I'm like, she would have been like, look at it. She's like, I'm trying to give my people a chance. She's like, you can take the Negro out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the nigga. I was like, I'm glad I didn't ruin it because they would have kicked me off. I probably been blackballed out of Hollywood. If I'm not already blackballed, who knows? Whatever. I mean, they don't really know me enough to blackball me. I just ain't never get in, so whatever. But I said, I'm glad I didn't mess things up, man. But I said, I said, my survival instincts kicked in. I was like, talking about me. I seen Crafty. I said, oh man, I got a lot to learn about this Hollywood stuff, man. But man, anyway, I'm not gonna drag it on. That's pretty much it for my Hollywood stories. And you know what? Look, everything happened for a reason, man. I mean, you hear all these rumors and conspiracies. They talking about, if you want to make it big, you know what I'm saying, eventually they have you sign blood contracts. You prick your finger, you sign the contract with blood. And I'm like, first off, I was like, I ain't doing all that. You hear about stuff, they got to go out here to some place called Bohemian Grove, be out there in black robes and in the middle of the night looking at some owl, talking about, shim, shim, shalabah. I said, look, I don't know if that stuff is true or not. I don't just buy into conspiracy theories. I don't believe everything that I hear, but I said, I ain't with all that. I was like, they would have came at me with that type of stuff. I was like, it would have been dead from the judge. They'd be like, nah. It'd be like Dave Chappelle. He's like, you got that, they tried to offer him 50 mil. That 50 mil, you know what it come with? I don't know. The brother ran to Africa. I said, that would have been me. I said, they'd have been like, he's a one-hit wonder. What happened? He did something and then he offered a big contract. I'd have been in Africa too. I was like, shoot, I've been meaning to go to the motherland one day and visit anyway. I'd love to be sitting outside a hotel suite and sitting inside the hotel suite looking out the window, seeing some zebras running through the grass. I said, back to nature. I said, I'm not selling out. I was like, I don't know if that's the case. Can't say that's conspiracy theories. A lot of people talk that nonsense. They're cloning them. They're doing this and that. I said, I don't know. I said, but I do know one thing. Master P told some stories. He said they tried to approach him with that stuff. Talking about, yes, we're Illuminati joint. He said, I ain't with all that. And he said, if you come for me, I got an army. I'm going to war. He said, I ain't with all that. And P, that's why I like Master P. Much respect to him. This dude, he reminds me of the brother that's like Kevin Smith. He's a black version of Kevin Smith. Because if you know anything about Hollywood and Kevin Smith, the dude from Jay and Silent Bob, he's Silent Bob. This dude will take like a low budget. He'll take like $1 million. He'll make a movie. He'll make 50 mil. He could take 500,000, turn it into $30 million. So I'm like, shoot, Master P, he take like 200 grand, turn it into a $20 million movie. So I was like, I'd be the black master. I mean, one day I get my money up. I said, I'd be like that. And then it's like, my kids, and here's the thing too. My kids, it was like, Dad, I heard you wasn't changing lanes, I wanted to see it. So I tried to watch that movie back in the day. I think it came on TBS or some cable channel. I was like, man, I couldn't even watch that much of it. I said, man, I was more like changing stations. I said, click, no, I was like, can't do it. And I told the kids, when the kids wanted to see it, they wasn't even showing it on nothing or whatever. But it said that, and it was on none of the streaming services. They said you could buy it. I think we was going to the Fire Stick, buy it for like $14. I said, I'm not paying $14.99 for that movie. I said, first off, they said, but we want to see you. I said, first off, you're not going to see me anyway. I said, I was an extra. And I said, basically, when I watched the movie, I said, when it came on one of them channels, I said, I basically only wanted to watch the scene where I was in the memorial service. I said, I couldn't see me. I said, but here's the thing. I said, if you squint your eyes and cock your head to the side and look, I said, you can see my crusty elbow. I said, that's all you can really see or whatever. So I was like, you're not going to really see me. I'm an extra. So I was like, forget it. We ain't paying for it. So anyway, that ends this. Not going to drag it on. Thank you for viewing this or whatever. Hope you enjoyed. This is my experiences. Episode's called Don't Hate, Congratulate. And you know what we're going to do. We're going to chill to the next episode. Catch you guys later on the next one. That's what it is. Your boy LB. Peace.